Hello, everyone, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Happy Monday! Coming to you live here from Daytona tonight, getting ready to call the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group Duels at Daytona, and we're getting ready to roll off pit road. This is the qualifying night for the Sim 500 Daytona 500 here. It's going to be a great race on February 9th. You're not going to want to miss that as the drivers roll off pit road. This is Duel 1 of 2. Tyler Dalton, Mark Jorgensen locked in on speed. I do believe in full qualifying. And now it's Bobby Wetzel's turn, along with Dylan Jones, Kevin DeBrow, Wesley Donaldson, David Schildhouse, Nelson Rivera, Robert Ferretti III, Ty Bass, David Comstock, Brian Wortman are going to start in the top 10 in Duel number 1. And then it's David Comstock, Charles Woods, Mike Montesi, Anthony Calatoni, Troy Haight, Carl Dodson is going to start 15th here tonight in that 29 Chevrolet. Donnie Lea, Brandon Garand, Bentley Glacier, Mark Schrader, Kevin Kleber are going to start 20th there. And keep in mind, only 20 drivers advance forward here to the big race on the 9th, and that's next Monday. And some of those drivers on the outside looking in right now. That's Cody Harris, Steve Vest, Jerry Bergeron, Jeff Kay, and EJ O'Rourke. As, again, they get ready to go green flag racing here at Daytona. For duel number 1 for the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group, Daytona Duels. Now we've got a couple of people tuned in over on Facebook, YouTube. Thanks so much for being here. If you haven't already done so, share the broadcast with a friend looking for some exciting Daytona racing here. Obviously, the Clash being postponed due to weather. And Turn 1's happy to bring you some NASCAR action here before the real stuff kicks off. The pace car has got him doubled up and is going to head down pit road. Bobby Wetzel, Dylan Jones on that front row, and they're going to get ready to go. The green flag is out. We'll duel racing at Daytona. Off down into 1 and 2. This is going to take a little while for these cars to get up to speed, but side by side, right in line with one another. This is Daytona racing at its finest, super speedway. Bobby Wetzel on the bottom there. He's got a pretty big gap that he has got to make up here. That's going to allow that outside to make a train. That is going to be, that's the 09 and Dylan Jones, Kevin DeBrown. They're going to move down to the bottom. They're going to bring David Schildhouse with them. Right down to the bottom to take that bottom run away for Bobby Wetzel. He's going to cycle back to 4th. It is single file for the top 5. And Dylan Jones is going to lead lap number 1 here tonight. As they roll through the corner here, work it up, finally really getting these cars spun up on the RPM. Jones on the bottom, Kevin DeBrown, David Schildhouse, Bobby Wetzel, Nelson Rivera, the top 5. Keep in mind, as we talked about how to kick off of the race here, the top 20 drivers are going to advance to the big race. And that's really going to put some pressure on the guys back here, 13th, 14th, 15th. Obviously, that cut line right there is currently Jeff K, Troy Haight battling back and forth. Everybody back behind this group is going to have some work cut out for them. Looks like Wesley Donaldson did not start the race here tonight, or at least is not on track currently. It is showing a lap down. So it looks like we will have 4 cars here tonight not making the big race next Monday night. Dylan Jones continues to lead here. Everybody single filed out for pretty much the entire top 10 or so. Bentley Glazer sitting in that 11th place spot. A lot of familiar names. Remember, we were calling the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series here with Sim 500, and man, they knew how to put on a show. Some big names, some big talent in this series. And we've got the likes of David Comstock, Bentley Glazer, Robert Ferry III's in this mix, Nelson Rivera, the famous number 20, David Schildhouse. He's right up there running 3rd. The children likely tuned in here over on twitch.tv/Schildhouse. So a lot of talent, a lot of drivers know how to get around a racetrack like Daytona in this group. Jones continues to lead here. Remember, he got by Bobby Wetzel. Wetzel had a bit of a lag on that bottom line. He didn't quite have the help he needed to get the run. So that being said, David Jones out front. Kevin DeBrown settled right into P2 here, modding his P's and Q's. He knows everybody here. There's no point in making a mess of, especially this top 10 or so. It is very early in tonight's race. You're going to go a full 40 here. No green, white, checkered. So if it ends under caution, it ends under caution. But we're working lap number 5. And, you know, you've got to be there at the end to win these super speedway races. Let's take an opportunity while we have it, while the action's still heating up here tonight, and right on board with a couple drivers. Let's pick Brian Wortman. He's up 4 spots on the night. A pretty impressive run for Brian. Let's go right on board with Mr. Wortman as he works around the racetrack here tonight at Daytona. You hear these drivers modulating that throttle. Don't want to get too much of a run on those cars in front of them. That's all pretty much restrictor plate racing at its finest. You got to mind your P's and Q's quite a bit because, well, you get that run and you get maybe nowhere to go. You duck out and nobody goes with you. And guess where you're going? Straight to the back. And, well, action is starting to pick up back here. And let's be honest, it never really cooled down. Brandon Garand right now running 17. Charles Woods just behind him there in the 98. All these drivers are flirting with that 20th place position. Remember, that's the cut line here tonight. Jeff K sitting just above it at the moment, but that outside line is starting to form up. 3 cars out there. Again, just trying to be where they need to be. If you were a driver, if I were a driver, I tell you what, I would want to be up near the front. Even if it's in that outside line, I don't want to be anywhere near that 20th place position. However, that's why we're in the booth and not in the car, because, you know, being able to actually do it versus say it is two different things. It is entirely, it's difficult to get runs at times here. You've got to have the right mix of partners, and, you know, it looks like a lot of drivers around here just minding their P's and Q's, maybe saving a little bit of fuel, and some of these drivers here just hanging out towards the rear as we work the early laps here as we nearly complete the first 10 at Daytona. Dylan Jones leads them all here for Sim 500's Daytona Duels on turn 1. Again, if you're new to the channel, haven't done so, do me a favor, get subscribed, get followed, like the stream, do what you need to do, and please share it with a friend. Let them know to come watch some Daytona action over here with the Sim 500 gang and the Cooks Landscape Group Daytona race coming up next Monday night right here on turn 1. Looking forward to that one. This group always putting on a great show with this Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, and I suspect next Monday night is not going to be any exception. Action again, like I mentioned, starting to pick up a little bit. We're starting to see that outside line materialize just a smidge. Remember, this group started towards the back of the field. They are now sitting there being led by that 16 of Brandon Garand, and now that 3-car run has turned into a 5-car run, and he's the tip of the spear, and he's worked himself up to 5th as they work through the tri-oval here on to take lap number 11. And now all of a sudden, what went from a very calm single file race up and down this running order here has turned into a 2x2 run just behind the leader, Dylan Jones. This is going to be his first challenge on the high side here tonight. What is he going to do? Well, he's going to just stay right off the nose of that 93. That is Kevin DeBrown in that Ford Mustang there. While it looks like Brandon Garand, he is jockeying for that top spot. He's got his foot on go, ready to get it moving up here. And Garand on the high line. He's got a lot of help. That's Carl Dodson with him. Coming around the start-finish line, we're going to have a new leader for that lap. That was Brandon Garand. And now he has gotten fully clear of that bottom line, and they're going to move down. And all of a sudden, that outside line takes the top spot on the bottom. And just like that, Dylan Jones went from 1st to 4th in about half a lap. All because that outside line is on the move. They're not done moving on that outside, by the way. Now it's being led by Troy Haight as Jeff K moved up maybe to try to get some side draft off of Haight just a little bit, maybe slow that driver, the 46, down, but it's not going to work. Here comes Haight. He is on the roll. It looks like that's the 34 that's glued to his bumper, making that outside line sing there, even with those 3 cars. And don't think the rest of these drivers in this Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series don't understand what the assignment is. They saw how easy it was for that outside line to come together and move forward. Well, I suspect some of those are going to write that down in their little books and potentially use that to their advantage here as the laps continue to click off at Daytona. Carl Dodson is out front now on that outside line and has really got it figured out. Keep in mind, he rode up here with Brandon Garand, but then he moved up to block the run for Troy Hayden. He's actually going to have the lead as they work through the tri-oval to the start finish line. New leader, the 29 of Carl Dodson here tonight. Working lap number 14. You know, a driver we've not mentioned too much this evening, that's Anthony Calatoni riding on board with New Jersey's finest, out running right now in that 8th place position. He's up 6 spots tonight, Anthony Calatoni, and really putting on an Anthony Calatoni run so far. If you're new to the channel or have not seen Anthony run before, this is his style, just kind of back there minding his P's and Q's a little bit. You typically run mid-pack, but as the laps continue to click on, we start to see 15 to go, 10 to go. Guess what? That 84 Chevrolet of Calatoni is going to be moving forward, and well, so far his track record is certainly alluding to that. Up 6 spots tonight, running in that 8th place position on the bottom line. Back up front, you're not missing anything right now. Dodson on the point on that outside, but here comes Brandon Durand. He's still got that help on the bottom. That's the 40 of Jeff K. Remember, we'll call it 10 laps ago. Well, even less than that, 8 laps ago, these drivers were back there around that 20th place marker. Jeff K was floating right on the bubble. Well, guess what? He has found some pace. They have found the front row as Carl Dodson's going to move down there and keep that spot secured in front of Brandon Durand. Now, on that outside line, Jeff K is going to duck out. He's looking for a little bit of help, maybe trying to pick up Troy Haight there in the 46 Chevrolet. Haight's been out there on that outside line here for the last 5, 6, 7 laps, but just hasn't been able to get to the point. And now Jeff K and Haight start to slide back a little bit. And moving so far, they have fallen through the field back to 8th place, 9th place now. That's where Schildhouse and Bobby Wetzel's sitting at the moment. And all of a sudden, that outside line went from double or 2x2x2 for the top spots. Now the first 6, all single file. Working through the tri-oval here. Out front, Dodson. Dodson's having a pretty banner run so far, but he knows that this is not what the race is going to be the last 10 laps or so, as we're starting to close in on that halfway point here tonight for Daytona for the Sim 500 Duel number 1. Here on turn 1, looking back a little bit near that cut line, we've got the names like Bentley Glaser. Oh, by the way, there is Jeff K and Troy Haight. They're moving backwards in a hurry. But Bentley Glaser is currently sitting 15th. Cody Harris, another really fast, talented driver, sitting back there at 16th position. Ty Bass is sitting 17th. Some other notables here. Charles Wood sitting 21st. Bart Schrader 22nd. Jerry Bergeron 23rd. And then EJ O'Rourke, he's no stranger to turn 1 in that in that 91 Toyota. Sitting back there, he actually just ran the fastest lap of the race, but he is just hanging out in 24th position, waiting and biding his time. I expect we'll see that Units Toyota up front here before it's all said and done, if I know anything about EJ O'Rourke. Top 8 and 10 spots here, single filed out as they work around the corner here, coming out of turn number 4. This is going to be to take lap 19 of 40. Again, closing in on the halfway point of Duel number 1. Keep in mind, the super speedway racing, I alluded to it earlier, you've got to be there at the very end. You cannot come out here and you're not going to win it on lap 1 or in this instance, lap number 39. You've got to get all the way to lap 40, and a lot of drivers have mixed strategies. Do you ride up front, just like you see Carl Dodson doing right now? Or do you ride towards the rear? We talked about EJ O'Rourke sitting back there in 24th right now, last place on track. What is your strategy as a driver? You have to come in. Do you want to come in here and maybe have an opportunity to stay out of trouble and hit the brakes? Or if something were to come undone in front of you? Or do you want to be on the point and stay out of trouble in the lead? Speaking of on the point, Carl Dodson, that driver, pit from the lead and by himself. Dodson down pit road, no help with him, and Brandon Durand's going to pick up the lead down the backstretch. Now that we're starting to see pit stops underway, we'll see many of these drivers start to go with partners and friends here. We'll see who else elects to come down. It looks like Brian Wortman's going to duck out. He's going to be the only one. Everybody else stays on track. Duran's going to lead another lap, and that's 16 Ford. Officially past the halfway point here tonight at duel number 1 for the Sim 500. Qualifying races for the Daytona 500 next Monday night, February 9th, right here on Turn 1 Broadcasting. Again, if you haven't already done so, like the stream, subscribe if you haven't. You're not going to want to miss any of this exciting racing. And then we kick it back over to Thursday nights here in just a few days. And the Thursday night NC811.org Limited Series comes back to Turn 1 live Thursday evening, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Out front, we've got some action here as David Comstock, Donnie Leah move forward. On that outside line, out of nowhere, they moved and made the moves, and Comstock is going to take the point here. Taking a look at scoring Carl Dodson. Remember, he pit by himself 2 laps ago. He is a lap down right now, running 24th. Brian Wortman came down the next lap. Otherwise, we've not seen any of these other drivers come down, but they will have to stop for fuel at least one time before the race is over here tonight. And we saw the aggression, I won't say be low, but we have certainly seen the field kind of mind their P's and Q's a little bit here, as now a big group of drivers is going to come down, all led. That's, who was that? It was Brandon Garand, I do believe, that came down. That is Garand. Dylan Jones got a great run down pit road. Garand slow. Jeff K, Troy Haight all hitting pit road. Coming to the attention of their crew. Now that pack of 4 is the first set of drivers to come down, and a lot of them will coordinate with one another. When do you want to go? We should all come down together. Make sure we've got some drafting help along the way. Well, right now, the first group of the night, all led by Dylan Jones, wrapping up pit stops. They come out of 4 here now. Who else is going to come down? Comstock on the point. He is going to come down. This is going to be a big group right here, all led with David Comstock. They fan out on the apron. Comstock spins. He spins and makes contact with that inside wall. Donnie Lee is going to lead Calatoni. Harris to Brown. Kleber, Bentley Glacers down pit road. Charles Woods, Jerry Bergeron, EJ O'Rourke down pit road. New leader is going to be Bobby Wetzel. Remember, he started at the point of this race here tonight, quickly moved backwards, and he currently is sitting on the top spot. He's got Nelson Rivera back behind him. Robert Fede III is running 3rd. Mike Montesi, Ty Bass. And that is Steve Vest sitting 6th place right now. Only 6 drivers have not come down, and they're going to come down now. They're going to get fanned out down this apron here, and 4 wide coming across the line there, 3 wide. We got drivers in the boxes. We got drivers all the way to the grass. And pit stops coming to close here. So, this is going to shake some things out. Right now, I show David Schildhouse would cycle out the race leader. Bentley Glacier would come out P2. Anthony Calatoni, Justin Kleebler, Cody Harris in this group. This is a 5-car pack of drivers, all working their way to the front. They're going to actually work around. This is that was Steve Vest on the bottom. They're going to get caught up to Nelson Rivera and crew as they just wrapped up their pit stops. Ty Bass and the 2, Robert Fede III, all hoping to attach onto this draft, but it is going to be tough. That outside line, led by David Schildhouse, has got Bentley Glacier tied to the bumper on the toe here down the backstretch. And new leader, it's going to be that 20 Chevrolet of David Schildhouse as they work out of 4. All pit stops complete so far in a green flag race. Duel number 1 here tonight on turn 1. Right after this, we will quickly hop to duel number 2, where another set of 20 drivers will race their way to qualify into the big race next Monday night. All of that coming live to you here tonight as we're clicking off laps. Just 15 to go here. That outside line starting to move. Who is that? That's got Dylan Jones up there with him. That's Kevin DeBrown, who is on the point there. That is a lap down car that Jones is using as a tow. They made some pretty strong moves here forward. What an impressive run out of that group. That is Carl Dodson. Dodson right now sitting 23rd on the running order. A lap down. Remember, he was the first driver to come down pit road here. He is going to need a caution to be able to make the race here on his finishing order. Comstock is sitting 24th. He is sitting right there. That is car number 4 in that row. He's also going to need a caution for this to work out in his favor. Jeff K now by himself. He is running 22nd. Troy Hates 21st. And Brian Workman is 20th. Remember, we're only taking the top 20 drivers here tonight as the action's starting to heat up under the lights at Daytona. Down the backstretch, single filed out. Dylan Jones on the point. He's led some laps here this evening, and he has got a tow from Dodson. Kevin DeBrown, that's another driver we're used to talking about here on Monday nights with the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. He's up only 2 spots, but making it look pretty good. Clean in that 93.4, working his way to a finishing result here. He'd like to see a checkered flag knock one off here in a dual race. Go off into next Monday night with a win. Already in the column for the night, or for the Daytona Speedweeks here. It's currently sitting 2nd. Dodson on the point. Let's go back to that. Remember, Carl came down. That was lap 19. He pit before everybody else, got right to the fuel window. He is a lap down. But what he is doing here is essentially towing Dylan Jones around this racetrack. Jones in the 09 machine there, sitting in that 2nd place in line. He's enjoying, he likes what he sees here, because guess what? He's always going to have a little bit of help. And if anybody knows anything about speedway racing, you do not want to be in the lead when the white flag waves. Well, in this situation, Dylan Jones, he's not technically the lead car. He's going to be able to leverage that draft if things were to stay the same. And we could see a pretty strong defensive battle here if things continue to work this way on the last lap. But I assure you, some of these other drivers, Cody Harris, remember, he was rolling around there towards the back. He qualified 17 spots back. So I don't even know if Harris took a qualifying lap. Now he's up here in 4th, leveraging a short pit stop and pitting with the right people to move forward. So he's all for this nice running in the top 5, but don't think for a second the 95 wouldn't move up and race for this lead with 3 to 4 to go. He's going to make it interesting. The same with the 36 up Italy Glacier. He is going to not be afraid to hop out of line and make a run. So just keep a close eye on those cars here. Another driver, Nelson Rivera, Anthony Calatoni, he's running 8th. Bobby Wetzel's 9th right now. Remember, he started on the point here this evening. And so far, he is safe from being eliminated. Meanwhile, we go back. Charles Woods is running 18th rather, and he's got a pretty solid 6-second gap over Brian Workman. And that pack has picked up another car. That's Troy Haight, Steve Vest now. Got it single filed out, and really the cut line, only one of these 3 will go forward. If we don't see a caution to reset the field, only one of these drivers are going to put themselves in the race on Monday. Remember, we only take the top 20 out of this race. Jones continues to lead here as we're Under 10 laps to go for duel number 1 here at Daytona. And everybody is minding their patience. Laps are now in the single digits, and really the race for the win here is, what is this, about 12 cars or so. Let me take a look. EJ O'Rourke, so it's a 14-car group here. And then obviously you've got Dodson on the point a lap down. This is likely where your winner's going to come from if we don't see a caution. And who's going to be the first to step out of line? Maybe move to that outside. Maybe want to make a run for something here. Who's going to be the one to do it? Working right down to that yellow line. Single file. They're actually going to catch up to a car that's going to go a lap down. I believe that was Jeff K. It is. Kay is actually, he's going to be glad to see this pack. He's going to catch up with the draft. But what he's not going to be proud to see is that position. He's going to move high up against the wall here, well out of the way of the leaders, but hopefully he can latch onto this group. He is currently, Jeff Kay is currently sitting 24th. So he is a couple spots out as they run right now. Coming down the backstretch with 7, we'll really call it 6.5 to go. Starting to see a driver poke out here. Who was that? Oh, that is the 4 of Mike Montesi. Mike Montesi has got style, my guys. He's always got a great paint scheme on pretty much anything he runs. Right now, running around 13th. And that car looks sharp, I gotta say. I don't know what about it is, but that man, he knows how to pick the paint schemes. Mike Montesi, he was out there on that outside line for a minute. Was thinking about making some moves. Nobody went with him as we start to see Jones and DeBrown with Dodson on the point start to separate this pack a little bit as everybody's starting to space out. Come across the stripe here. That's going to be 5 to go. Here at Daytona for duel number 1. Cook's Landscape Group Cup Series qualifying night. And now we're starting to see some folks make some moves. You saw about 4 or 5 cars jump out to that outside line. I believe that was Nelson Rivera that popped out there trying to get a better view. Oh, everybody's starting to dice around a little bit. That got a little nerve-wracking. And that's Robin Finetti III in that number 2 car. Leading the charge on that outside line, and he's going to start to make the pull out there. Dylan Jones. Going to come across the stripe, 4 to go. That outside line picking up another driver. That's Donnie Leah in the 12 car. He's got Nelson Rivera, sorry, he's got Petty, and who is that? Is that Nelson Rivera back there as well? I do believe it is. It is. Bobby Wetzel starting to pick up some speed on that outside line. Keep in mind, these drivers know that they're locked in if they just finish right here. Everybody's in a decent spot. No reason to push the issue, but I mean, again, who doesn't want to run into next Monday night without a checker flag already in their hand? That'd be a pretty good confidence boost going to the big race. 3 to go across the stripe here. That outside line is starting to pick up some speed. That's Ty Bass. He's jumped up to the outside alongside Bentley Glacier. That side draft starting to play a factor. I like this run the outside line's making. They have timed it pretty well. 3 to go here. You're starting to creep up on the outside a little bit, just flirting alongside 3rd place. We're going to see the action really pick up here as the drivers come down the front stretch. That's going to be 2 to go. And Dylan Jones, he's going to hop out there and block that outside run. Kevin DeBrown on the bottom, right glued to the bumper of Dodson. Action is picking up. All the patience out the window now as Dylan Jones off the bumper of the 3. Pretty big run. Jones has just got to decide when he wants to move down. He's going to do it right there. He's got Ty Bass with him. Now the 12 car on the outside. Jones is going to move up the block. Down the short chute here and into the tri-oval. They're going to see 1 to go in duel number 1. Jones on the outside has got the 12, glued to the bumper. Ty Bass is going to move back. Oh, a little bit of nervousness out of there. Jones is going to move up to the high line to block the run, but he's going to have to protect the bottom. And now he's going to give that spot up to the 12. The 12's going to have a push. Here comes Freddie. The 22 is going to go around. I'm sorry, that was the 09 as they're big wrecking back behind them. This could shake some things up. Meanwhile, the 12, the 2, and the 34. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to be Donnie Leah for the checkered flag here at Daytona. Let's take a look back here. This is the race for that 20th place position. Brian Wortman sitting 19th. Troy Haynes, Steve Vest, all racing for that final transfer spot. No challenge there. It looks like that's going to wrap it up. Hayden is going to be that 20th place finisher. Meanwhile, Donnie Leah, victory here in duel number 1 at Daytona. He's got to like how that feels. We'll talk to him post-race here. Meanwhile, we're getting ready for duel number 2 here on turn 1. They're going to get grid up. We're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching turn 1. Just as quick as we wrap up race number 1, we get ready to go racing here in race number 2. Andrew Cody going to start up front here in duel number 2. The same rules apply. Going to take the top 20 drivers. John Ellis is going to start outside, or he's going to start there in P3. That's Cody or Chad Coleman. He's going to start outside row 1. John Ellis, Justin Knobloch, and Justin Fuller, your top 5. Then it's Steven Miles, Josh Ball, Josh Parker, Richard Baisley, Brock Wilson, going to start 10th. Stoney Penfield, Joe Hudson, Jeff Pogo rather. Boss man Joey Gentina's going to start 14th or 13th, one of the two there. Gerald Livingston, Daniel Eberhardt is going to start 16th. Ron Holyfield, Kevin Stone, Doug Sigmund, Doug Roth, your top 20. And then it's going to be Corey Powell, Ray Rogers, Jason Karlovage, and who is that? That is Zach Roethlisberger. Going to start in that 23rd or 24th place position back in the rear. race number 1 in the books, and it was a fantastic one. Went green flag the whole way. Can we see him do it again? The 87 of Andrew Cody and the 38 of Chad Coleman on the point as they go green flag racing. Race number 2 is green at Daytona. Coleman's going to quickly take that point, that top stop, or that top spot away. Just a no block, or no block rather. With a little bit of help on that outside line. We saw a lot of drivers be patient here and try to extend out this fuel run quite a bit as the 5. Oh, a little bit of out of shape action. The 24 is going to take advantage. Steven Miles, that's a name we've not talked about in a good minute. Miles now sitting P2 in that 24 Chevrolet, and he is starting to make some moves. He is on the bumper of Chad Coleman. I would not be shocked if we don't see these drivers really glued to each other all night here. Coleman and Miles, no strangers to running and winning on Monday nights here with Sim 500, and some strong talent in both those drivers. And they can get it done at most racetracks, but really anybody can make it happen at these super speedways. And Chad Coleman, Steven Miles on the point, looking to show that they belong in Monday night's race. You know, another driver we've not had a chance to follow too much, that's Justin Fuller. Had a heartbreaker of a season during the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series that ended right there in December rather, and just missed the championship there with Fuller. Well, right now he is sitting in 5th place, looking down the barrel of another good season here, and I suspect we could see him in strong contention for that championship. He would like to walk out of Daytona with a checkered flag in his hand, and you're going to see a lot of calculation out of that 51. Gonna take his time, make the right moves here, and currently sitting in that inside line running 5th. Coleman continues to lead on the point here. But he's going to have a little bit of competition. That's Steven Miles. Steven Miles moving out to the outside. There's no service to Coleman. I want to lead a lap or 3. Let me get up here. He's going to have some help. I believe that's the 5 along, or the glued to the rear of the 24. They're also going to have some help. Who is that? Is that Josh Parker? That very well could be. That's the 81. That is Josh Parker. An immense level of talent in that 81 as well. We've seen him run really quick with this Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, and well, he is showing he deserves to be in some of the top honors here. Miles leads on the bottom. Coleman's gonna settle into that P2 position. Miles went to the outside, took that spot, and then everything calmed back down. Remember, race number 1, we saw a lot of these drivers settle in. We saw some fuel mileage racing, a lot of early lifting, a lot of folks feathering the throttle a good bit in the run. We saw pit stops kick off right around lap 19. 20, I think the whole group came down on 23. So I would expect no different out of these drivers. And I suspect some of these drivers were watching that duel number 1 and making some decisions on what should be their strategy going into race number 2. But so far, that outside line, as we work lap number 6 here, has not given it up quite yet. That's being led by the 5. The 81 is up there as well. I believe that, who else is that Josh Ball? Either way, that outside line Not being afraid of sitting out there here early. Meanwhile, let's look a little bit further back at the cut line. Remember, we're going to take the top 20 drivers, and this is we'll see a full 5-car bump out of this field. Joey Jatina, Ron Holyfield's right now sitting 22nd. Kevin Stone, Earl Livingston, and Logan Koger started 25th, and he is, oh goodness, he's in danger of going a lap down there out of Koger here. Maybe starting down pit road. Single filed out the top 4. That's Miles, Coleman, Cody, Ellis. As they make some laps, let's ride on board. Let's go on board Doug Sigmund here. He's up 9 spots on the night so far, race number 2. Let's see what that's looking like in that 04 Chevrolet. I tell you what, the excitement's certainly picking up here in race number 2. They're 3 wide, moving forward as they work the first 10 laps. Miles, he's going to be under attack. That's Chad Coleman. He's leading that middle run, but then there's a bunch of drivers making a 3rd row here at Daytona. Race number 2 has come with the excitement. Well, that's the 90 and the 43. That is Daniel Eberhardt and Doug Roth piloting those machines, and all of a sudden that 3rd line's going to start to dissolve. Roth going to lead it. He is sitting 14th back there, and everybody's going to kind of absorb into that 2nd line. 3 wide, that's the first time we've seen that here tonight at Daytona. Chad Coleman, though, on the point. He's going to take it away from Steven Miles. He's going to bring, shocker, the 51, a Justin Fuller Ford. 1-2 for Coleman and Fuller as they come across the stripe. Logan Koger's going to go a lap down here as Coleman is going to squeeze by on the bottom. As they come down the backstretch here off into turn number 3. That 51, I knew we were going to see him up front. He is not a man to hang out and chill. Caught up with a 38. Both these drivers, again, would like to kick off the season with a win. Well, it's all got to start in the duel. You've got to have a solid qualifying effort. You're going to learn a little bit about the car and the folks around you as well. And right now, that you should be treating this like it is the race. Get as much intel as you possibly can. That 24 car, he's fallen back to 4th on that inside line. And then it's Andrew Cody, John Ellis, Josh Parker, Daniel Eberhardt, Joey Jatina. Remember, we were talking about him 5 laps ago. He was riding at 20th. He's moved himself back up to the 9th place position. Josh Ball alongside Doug Roth as that outside line starts to come together once again. There's really no strong advantage for the pit strategy, except you want to make sure the only real advantage that you get here tonight at fuel mileage versus not saving, because you certainly are not going to make it the whole way. But if you can get down pit road and lengthen out the run, lengthen out your first run before you pit, you spend fewer seconds in the box. We saw David Schildhouse and others come down pit road, and David Schildhouse spent just a little over 7 seconds in the box, coupled with everybody around him. So that is just a splash of fuel and go. But the longer you can run this first run, the less time you spend in the box. Means more time you get back out, and that pit stop's short. You can make up a little bit of time. What it also has to happen for that to work is you got to have a group of drivers to come with you. You've got to be communicating. Who are you going to partner up with to go? Who are you going to work with to get drafted up with? Once those pit stops are once that pit stop is complete, you need to have some cars around to start building up that draft. Well, now is the time to start talking about that. We'll see pit stops here in the next 6 to 8 laps. And you want to start coordinating, because it's going to take you a little bit, especially say you're the 24 of Stephen Miles. He's sitting 4th right now on that inside line, but maybe he wants to come down pit row and Doug Sigmund. Or Brock Wilson. Brock Wilson's running 14th right now. Pretty far back in the pack, and you see them 2 by 2 back there around that 6th place position on back. So it's going to take some time to get up there. You really want to coordinate early and often so you can take advantage of any type of runs and whatnot. So these drivers starting to think about pit strategy as the laps click on. Coleman's going to come across the stripe there. Remember, he started on the outside, row number 1. And he is on the point right now. Just cruising. He's hit off some challenges. He's got the 51 of Fuller right there with him. And then back behind him, that outside row, that's Josh Parker. Parker's going to duck down to the inside there. I'm sorry, that is not Parker. That was the 80. No, that is Parker. Josh Parker in the 81 there. He just ducked down to the bottom. Going to pick up that inside line, and you know, that's another factor that we did not see in the first race is these drivers, they have stayed 2 by 2. There has been an outside line for pretty much this entire race number 2 here. And if you want to come down pit road and you're on that outside line, you got to make sure that folks inside of you are going to come at the same time. You don't want to be trapped up there and then potentially not be able to come down with drafting help, or you miss the entrance of pit road. So it's going to take some coordination, and so far I don't see anybody giving up any type of space here. And right now, that's Joey Jettina leading that top row. Doug Roth's up there as well. Coming out of 3 and 4 here. Coleman continues to lead Fuller, Parker, Jettina. He's on that outside line. They've got about 6 cars back there, 8 cars cruising around as pit stops. We're going to see him here. I would say the window is open at this point for these drivers to come down, and you know, this super speedway race, they don't really need to come down for tires. They just need to stop for fuel, just to top off. Let's look a little bit further back here. Keep in mind, we're only going to take the top 20 drivers. Well, Jason Karlovage, he's around that 17th place position. Corey Powell, Ron Holyfield, Joe Hudson, Richard Beasley, those drivers, they're all right there on that cut line. Kevin Stoll, Gerald Livingston as well. So they've got to be ready to go, as we can see some of these drivers duck down pit road. Not this lap. They're going to stay out. Come across the stripe here. That's going to be 21 to go in race number 2. Look at this gap that Fuller has over Parker. All of a sudden, you see these two start to spread out a little bit of this outside, this front gap start to spread out. Maybe some some fuel saving measures happening for the 5 here, Miles and a couple others. In the draft, Chad Coleman, he has had his foot through the firewall this entire race, being up front, but the rest of these drivers, they can lift half throttle, even a third throttle at times, will get you around Daytona without losing the draft and keep you competitive. You do not need to run full throttle around here, especially back here, that 5th, 6th, 8th place. And that is very good for the fuel mileage side of things. On the other hand, like I mentioned, Chad Coleman, he's been on the point and he's had his foot through the floorboard. And he's got the 51 glued to the bumper. As we're officially past the halfway point here tonight, Duel race number 2 for the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group Daytona qualifying night here on turn 1. Looks like everybody's going to stay out for another lap. That gives me an opportunity to mention this group of drivers. Obviously, the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, and then many other nights. I think they're running 4 nights a week here in different races. Trucks, limited iRating, cups, cup cars, all sorts of racing action up and down the Sim 500 roster. If you're interested in getting connected with a great group of drivers, a well-run, well-organized league, head on over to sim500.com, read the rules, get registered, and go racing with Sim 500. Sim500.com. Chad Coleman on the point. Justin Fuller. I suspect we'll see somebody break off down pit road, and it's going to be a big group of them. We got cars spinning. No caution, and there it is. That's going to shake some things up. And Joey Jatina stayed out. As everybody is down pit road, I think they will still do the stops. They will. This is Stephen Miles, Joe Hudson. That is Miles backwards down the, as he was getting down into the zone, but I don't know if he got tagged. Let's take one more look at this here from Miles. We'll do a little rewind action. Keep in mind, Miles right there on the bottom. He's got, I believe that's the 87 right behind him. They come down pit road. Actually, no. That did not start with Steven. There was a couple others involved in that. He was just an innocent bystander. He looked like he had it fairly well checked up. Either way, the caution's out for the first time here tonight on turn 1. We're going to step aside. You're watching the Daytona Duels. Getting ready to go back green flag racing here. Race number 2 of the Daytona Duels on turn 1. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Sean Fitz. If you haven't already done so, get connected. Like the stream if you haven't. Get subscribed. You're not going to want to miss next Monday night. The Sim 500 Daytona, or the Sim 500 Daytona 500 right here on turn 1. Pit stops are complete. It's going to be a run to the end. Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, Josh Parker is going to start third. Zach Roethlisberger, Justin Knobloch, Jason Karlovaj, Ray Rogers, Jeff Pogo, Brock Wilson, Josh Ball, your top 10. And really, this caution is shooking a lot of things up. We've got some names we've been talking about here back in the rear that have been up there running in that top 5. How about Doug Roth? He's back there in 20th. The 14 to Joey Chattina. Remember, he was running on the point at one point. He is now 21st. Joe Hudson is sitting 23rd. A couple other notables. That's Stephen Miles. We saw him sideways in the grass. He's going to restart 14th. John Ellis in the 21. He's going to start 12th. So this is going to shake some things up, but what it's not going to do is we're not going to see Josh Parker or Chad Coleman in the back, because guess what? They're on the point. Fuller took full advantage of everything. It's cycled out. He's the new leader. Pace cars down pit road. First caution of the night is concluded. We're back green here at Daytona. It's going to take 2.5 laps for these cars to get up to speed. Fuller's going to enjoy every minute of it he can. A great start by him. He's got the 38 right in line with him. That inside line, you see him nice and even here. That's Parker and Knobloch. Or no block there. Right in line. An even decent start here. That's not always as easy as it looks. We got folks trying to make their way to that bottom line, but right now the 51's going to lead it here at Daytona as they come across the stripe. That's, what is that, 13 to go. As they're getting up to speed, let's take this quick opportunity and ride on board. We'll do so with the 15 car. That's Brock Wilson. He's sitting in 7th at the moment. Let's take a lap around Daytona. Well, that was short-lived. The caution's out. That's Jeff Pogo. He's got it all out of shape on the bottom. See if we can get a better look of what happened here. But that was a little after the fact. Let's take one more look here. Oh, yeah. Jeff was on the outside. I don't know if he got moved or got left reared. That could have been disastrous for the larger group, but everybody able to keep it clean. And caution number 2 and race number 2 out here at Daytona. Josh Fuller leads, Chad Coleman, Josh Parker, Justin Knobloch, Zach Roethlisberger sitting P5. Then it's Stephen Miles, Brock Wilson. We were riding on board when we saw all that take place. Richard Beasley, Jason Karlovaj, Josh Ball is sitting in the 10th place position. They're going to get caught up with the pace car here. And we're going to go back green flag racing. Oh, goodness. With about 6 to go. No green-white checkers in this race tonight. So you get regulation only. And I tell you what, the action is going to be hot when we go back green flag racing. Again, I want to remind everybody, this is the Daytona Duels, the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series Duels at Daytona. This is race number 2. We're getting ready. We're qualifying 20 cars out of this race, 20 cars out of last race, plus plus the front row, which got in on qualifying speed. I believe that was Tyler Dalton, Mark Jorgensen, putting it together some strong qualifying runs. They're going to start on the point for next Monday night's Daytona 500, the Sim 500 Crookside Skate Group Daytona 500, right here on turn 1. We're going to step aside one more time. We're going to get re-racked just like these drivers are. They got to tighten those belts up. We're going to have a really short run to the end. You're watching Turn 1 Broadcasting. Pace car lights are off as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing here at Daytona for race number 2 of the Sim 500 Daytona Duels. And it is going to be a run to the very end here. I do believe we're going to go back green flag. It's either going to be 7 or 8 to go. Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman on the front row. Then it's Josh Parker, Justin Knobloch, Zach Roethlisberger, Stephen Miles, Brock Wilson, Richard Beasley, Jason Karlovage, and Josh Ball sitting in 10th right now. Andrew Cody, number 87, I believe. Cody, or Adrian, I believe that's you sitting in chat. I am so sorry, man. That is a very unfortunate way to not qualify here tonight. Andrew Cody involved in that incident a little while ago, and sounds like he is going to be out for the remainder of the evening. Pace car down pit road. Justin Fuller sees the green flag. They get him rolling. Restart number 2 underway at Daytona. A clean start for Fuller and Coleman on the front row. They're going to pick up Josh Parker and Zach Roethlisberger. You better bet these guys are going to have the foot to the floor. There's no point in saving at this point. Got 8 laps to go and a chance to bring home a checkered flag. But keep in mind, you also do not want to be in the back of this thing. You do not want to be wrecked and unfortunately out. We still have 24 cars on the lead lap. They're wrecking. Cars sideways. Everybody's making moves. Who was that up there? That wasn't Jeff. I'm not sure who that was. That was Corey Powell spun around. Let's take another look at the replay here. From the bottom, moved up, collect the 33. Also collected another driver. I believe that is Doug Roth. And that's going to be a couple folks at risk. Josh Ball right now is going to be running 21st. And another caution out. This is going to really squeeze things up. They're going to go back green flag racing with about 4 to go. We'll see who comes down pit road. If you're sitting back there, if you're Doug Roth, you know, you got involved, maybe a little bit of nose damage on that car. You're going to get the hammer out. Let the crew maybe work on that car just a little bit. But Josh Ball is also going to want to do that. They got to get these cars as straight as they possibly can. You need as much top speed as you possibly can get. Because Josh Ball right now, he's sitting 18th. He's only got 2 spots to the good. Remember Logan Coger? We were talking about him at the beginning of the race. I believe he started on pit road. Coger right now is sitting 19th on the lead lap. He has a strong chance here to make the full 42 car field at Daytona next Monday night. But if you're the 97 of Jeff Pogo, Joe Hudson, Corey Powell, those drivers right now, they're sitting 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. That is certainly going to get your attention. You want to be above that cut line as we're going to see some folks come down pit road. That's Elberhart. Doug Roth's also going to hit pit road. Jatina. Joey Jatina's going to hit pit road. The 14. I did not expect to see Jatina come down pit road. I'm not sure what that could be for. Maybe a little bit of a splash of gas, or maybe he's thinking, hey, why not try to put some tires on that car? He is. Jatina's going to take 4 Goodyears. He's got the right side of that car up. It looks like he's going to take a full set. Why not? He's had a lot of speed here tonight, so Joey Jatina going to take some tires here for this last run to the end. Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, Josh Parker, the 5 of Justin Knobloch, and Zach Roethlisberger sitting in the top 5. Remember, no green-white checkers for this race here tonight. I do believe we're going to have 4 to go at the stripe. They may go green with 3 to go. If not, it's 3. If it's not 3, it's going to be 2. So it's going to be close. It is going to be a mad rush to the very end of this thing. And that 51 Toyota Camry of Justin Fuller, not unaccustomed to the pressure of leading the Sim 500 group. We talked about the story of Fuller missing out on the championship last Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. And it wasn't a wide margin. It was a fight all the way down to the end. David Schildhouse ultimately winning that championship, but Fuller looking to come into 2026 and get some redemption. He had a really strong summer last year. Turned a good handful of wins in. And it was really strong all the way down the stretch, but not able to close the book with a championship trophy in the back pocket as he wrapped up the 2025 season. Not a bad way Let's kick off the 2026 run here. If he can bring the checker flag from this duel race. Back to the team. So the pace car lights are off. This is lap number 36 of 40. So we're going to go back to green flag racing and move. That's going to be, that is going to be 4 laps to go. So business is going to pick up. And if we see one more caution comes out, unfortunately, that will be the end of the night. No green, white checkers for the duel races here tonight. All regulation runs. So this could get sporty. A lot of these drivers here got some fast hot rods. We've seen Chad Coleman up front most of the night. Josh Parker's been up there quite a bit as well. We've also seen the 24. He's led a lap or two. He's currently sitting 6th. But all eyes are going to be on the 51 of Justin Fuller. What kind of restart can he get here? And then again, we'll be talking about those drivers sitting back there, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. That's Kevin Stone, Joe Hudson, Corey Powell, Joey Gentina, Josh Ball, Daniel Eberhardt, Doug Roth. Doug getting up to speed down the backstretch. He spent an extended period of time down pit road to get some of those damages fixed, and it looks like the 90 did as well. The pace car is going to duck down pit road. We're going to get one more restart at this. Can we see a run to the very end? Justin Fuller sees the green flag. We're back racing at Daytona. Fuller out to a strong jump. The 38's going to move down. Parker is sitting in that 3rd place position, just waiting to strike. Roethlisberger's going to slide up to 4th, that outside line, losing a little bit of momentum and run here. As we see, that was Roethlisberger. He's going to hop out, but he's going to be squeezed. They shut the door on the inside. That is Richard Beasley that ran through that door as fast as he possibly can, using the draft up to the 81 of Parker. Going to come down the front stretch here. They're going to see 3 to go. Fuller continues to lead. The top 4 single filed out. Then it's Beasley, Roethlisberger, Carl Lavage, Knobloch, Stephen Miles, Gerald Livingston. That outside line starting to move. They're thinking about making it 3 wide. All of a sudden, here comes a big run. That's Josh Parker. Josh Parker making a challenge on the outside. Justin Fuller's got the elbows up, and he's got the 38 glued to the bumper. Logan Coger goes around. That blocks the whole track. I showed Josh Parker was leading. When the caution came out, I would have to double check that, as we got a big wreck here that blocked the whole track. This started back there with the 20. That was the 21. Man, that's going to collect a lot of drivers here. The 97, the 87 is going to be involved in that. I'm sorry, the 27 rather. Josh Ball got collected in that incident. Logan Coger, it all started right around him. So let's just double check. As they run, Logan Coger would miss the race based on finish. So would Jeff Pogo, John Ellis, and Joey Gentina down pit road. He is, well, I think he'll get in on provisional. Either way, Justin Fuller is on the point, and he may very well have the win here. We did not take a look. Let's see if we can take a look at where Fuller was when that caution came out. Fuller on the bottom, and the caution's out. Boy, that was close. I think Justin Fuller had it. by the nose there. And it looks like Justin Fuller is going to be your winner in race number 2. There'll be no green, white checkered here. They're going to come around. They should see the 1 to go right here, or 2 to go. We'll take a look. Yeah, this will be... No, this should be the 1 to go right here. So we should see Justin Fuller pick up the checkered flag. Josh Parker, Chad Coleman in the top 3. Zach Roethlisberger had an outstanding night. He finished up 20 spots on the evening. He's going to finish 4th. Richard Beasley, man, Richard made a power move on the bottom there right before that caution came out. He was on his way forward. He's going to finish 5th tonight. Justin Noblock is going to finish 6th. Jason Karlovash, Stephen Miles is 8th. He has had an eventful night in that 24. Gerald Livingston, Brock Wilson, your top 10. Stoney Benfield, Ray Rogers, Doug Sigmund, Daniel Elberhart, Joe Hudson's going to finish 15th. Doug Ross, 16th. Corey Powell squeaking in there at 17th. Kevin Stone, Logan Koger right now. I actually show ISO Koger scored 19th, then Josh Ball 20th. So maybe that's Jeff Pogo, Ron Holyfield, John Ellis on the qualifying order here. As these drivers come down the backstretch, just a reminder, this race is the qualifying duel number 2, coming to a close here at Daytona for the Sim 500 Cooks Landscape Group Daytona 500. That will be next Monday night, February 9th, right here on Turn 1. I also need to mention Thursday night, that's coming up Thursday night, the NC811.org Limited Series returns on Thursday. For more exciting limited truck series racing right here on Turn 1. That has been a great series we've been covering here on Thursday nights. Joey Jatina just last week had a heartbreaker, had a race 1 at Las Vegas. Had some connection issues. I was talking to him earlier this weekend. I suspect he has got a new fiber line at this point. So heartbreak there from Jatina. I may have called this wrong. May see. We may have a green-white checker. It looks like we're going to, though I was almost certain we weren't going to have one. Let me double check. Yeah, it looks like it was set up to be no green-white checkers, but I guess we're going to have one here. So we'll go racing. One more time. Pace car lights are off. Justin Fuller, Josh Parker. We're not done. Apparently, we're going to see some overtime here. These cars will get just up to speed right around the time the checker flag will wave. Fuller, Parker, Coleman, Roethlisberger, Richard Beasley, your top 5. So, that's actually good news for Jeff Pogo, Josh Ball. Those 2 drivers sitting 21st, right there around that 20th, 21st position. Logan Koger, is going to have another opportunity here to stay up above that 20th place position. So these drivers looking for another restart here under the lights. Pace car hits pit road. Justin Fuller, Josh Parker on the front row. They see the green flag. We're overtime racing at Daytona. Justin Fuller with a strong start. He's got Coleman glued to the bumper. Here comes Beasley. Another strong run on the bottom. Parker doesn't quite have the shove on the outside he needs to be up there battling for the lead as they come down the backstretch. They're getting dicey back here. They're going to wreck one more time. That's a car upside down. I think that's Karlovaj. Really, wow, a big wreck there. It's going to mix it up, and that's going to bring the caution out once again, and that will be it. I see the white flag, so I don't think we will see another one. And that may have actually cost a couple drivers here. So Karlovaj currently, oh no, Steven Miles looks like he's out. So is Karlovaj. That car is dead on the bottom. They're sitting 21st and 22nd. Corey Powell right now would be on the cut line. As another caution waves here at Daytona, but I do believe this is going to be it. It's going to be Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, and Richard Beasley, your top three. Under caution here once again. Race number 2. I tell you what, the excitement's been kicked up a notch with race number 2 because we've seen 3 wide racing. We've seen a number of cautions. And race number 1, it went green flag the whole way, green flag pit stops, and we never saw that third line breakout. But man, they certainly did here in race number 2, turning it up just a notch as we get late into the evening. Tell you what, for the 51, this has got to feel at least marginal success coming out of Daytona. It's going to come across the stripe here. And I believe he's going to see the checkered flag. Justin Fuller going to win the duel race here at Daytona. And that's got to feel good. Going to get a bump there from the 10. And that's going to wrap up the race here at Daytona. We're going to we'll do some post-race coverage. Right after this, we're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching Turn 1. Duel race 1 and 2 in the books here at Daytona. And man, what a wild race all up and down the running order. with so many drivers. Seeing some exciting racing all up and down the racetrack. Waiting for a couple folks to get up here to the booth so we can do some post-race coverage. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about bringing home a pretty solid qualifying effort. I believe Tyler Dalton is going to be with us. There he is, Tyler Dalton. Tyler, congratulations. Qualifying here tonight. I don't know what your plan was getting ready to come into tonight's race, if you thought you were going to have to run through the duels or not, but able to turn the fastest lap, start on the front row next Monday.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I was sorry I was a little late getting up here, talking to my teammates down there, but I didn't know until the heat races went over that I wouldn't be racing either. So got all hyped to run tonight, and I had done some practice qualifying. Went out there, just I knew the guys I would have to know me beat, and at least one of them wasn't here. And I'm thinking, okay, based off the laps I've ran, if I could just be consistent, keep running that lap, I should be good. And I ran right in the window of the laps I'd been running, and it was good enough to win the pole by a decent little margin there. And then I saw Mark and Bobby tie for second and third, and I was pulling for Bobby to get the spot because it'd been nice to have us 1-2 there. But yeah, Duel 1 seemed like it was pretty calm there, and Duel 2 is a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, that was going to lead me to my next question for you, Tyler. Obviously, you've got the benefit now of being on the point for the big race. So now you've got some decisions to make in terms of strategy. A lot of drivers like to be up front. Some would like to be in the back. I've seen you do many over the years. What is your thoughts, obviously, on the pole going into Monday, and where can we see you running?
Well, definitely, if I can stay up front, I would like to stay up there. If you get stuck in around mid-pack is where you don't really don't want to be there, when you might want to consider falling to the back. I'll do my best to stay up front and stay in the top few rows is ideal. Got to be in front of the wreck at that point. Hopefully we don't have any wrecks, but it's always Daytona. You go into those races, at least I do, expecting to get wrecked, and if you don't, it's always a good, nice, welcome surprise. So, but yeah, it's always good to start up front. Figure just the way math works, you got a better opportunity to not be involved in the wreck if you're in front of most of the cars.
That's right. Well, listen, Tyler, congratulations. What a way to kick off the season with a pole at one of the bigger races of the year here at Daytona. We will see you next Monday night, and hopefully we're talking to you in Victory Lane.
Thank you. Yeah, this is always the biggest pole of the year, so it's always great to be able to get that. I think this is my third time being able to get this pole for this race, so it's a big honor. I feel bad for my teammate Wesley Donaldson. His internet was out today, and he's a big sponsor of the league and a sponsor on the car. And he was trying to race on a cell hot spot, and it just wouldn't hold up for him. But
well, obviously doing everything you possibly can to get into this big race. Tyler Dalton, the pole sitter for next Monday night Sim 500 Daytona 500 here on Turn 1. Tyler, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll hang out for another moment here. Again, I want to remind everybody, next Monday night, racing action here on Turn 1 for the Sim 500 Daytona 500. And it's going to be an exciting one. Obviously, Tyler Dalton on the pole. Mark Jorgensen Jr., if you've ever heard a Mark Jorgensen interview, well, you know what those can be. And we could very well see him in up front next Monday night. Speaking of up front, let's talk to Justin Fuller, who was able to bring home the checker flag out of race number two. Justin, that's gonna feel good to have a win in your pocket kicking off the 2026 season. Obviously not for more than a qualifying spot, but it looks like that 51's pretty quick for next Monday.
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot there was an interview. Yeah. I guess it's a good way to start the season off. I mean, it doesn't really pay anything. I didn't really care to win. But we did, so we get the start up front at least, for row 2, I guess, P4, but that's all right. Yeah, I don't, nothing to shake a stick at, I guess. It was a fun race. Wish we didn't have all those yellows, but would have been fun. We didn't have that, or a lot more fun anyway.
Justin, we've seen you obviously be really quick in this Cook Landscape Group Cup Series, especially last summer, really turning up the wick on everybody. And at different degrees of tracks, different types of tracks, and style of tracks. Obviously, we know Daytona is a little bit more of an even odds for everyone. What do you got in the back pocket to hopefully put those odds in your favor and turn this decent qualifying effort into a checker flag?
It's just gonna be about survival. You know, it's 117 laps at the scheduled distance anyway, and you know, the Daytona is a great equalizer, but at the same time, this car, it takes a different skill set than the other cars. So the driver definitely comes into play a little bit more with the next gen cars on super speedways, and hopefully we can use that to our advantage a little bit, and at least contend up front. I mean, you know, if we start off the season bad, that's all right. We got a long way to go. It is Daytona, so anything can happen, and I can be the one to make a mistake, or I can get caught up with somebody else's mistake, and it can be night over real quick. So just want to get the 51 up there in the wind and keep it up front all night long if possible, and have good pit stops, don't make any mistakes, and see what we can do.
Well, turning a decent race here tonight into a checker flag for a qualifying effort. Justin Fuller is going to start on the second row for the Sim 500 Daytona 500 next Monday night. Justin, thanks for the time, and hopefully we're talking to you in Victory Lane next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
And with that, we'll wrap up race coverage here on Turn 1. I want to thank everybody for tuning in again. 2 reminders. Next Thursday, or this coming Thursday night, rather, the NCA11.org Truck Series here. Live 8:30, 7:30 Central on Turn 1. And then Monday night, we head on to Daytona for the Daytona 500 Sim 500 style right here on Turn 1. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We'll see you Thursday night for truck racing right here on Turn 1. Good night, everybody.